Hello, welcome to Rants Without Pants, which you can watch on shhhhh.blogspot.com and bloggingblue.com, and now Dane101.com. My name is Adam Shabelles. You may know me from the Madison, Milwaukee power pop band, the Shabelles, that are playing with my favorite local Madison band ever, the German art students. That show is in Madison at the Crystal Corner Bar this Saturday. Check it out. We're starting a new segment today called 5 Rants in a Minute, which is what it sounds like. But first, part 2 of our farewell interview with co-founder, editor, publisher, the man who can do everything, Jesse Russell, who is leaving Madison to go to San Francisco. He is just one of the greatest guys ever, and he has added so much to the fabric of Madison, as well as the state of Wisconsin. So, he will be missed. And he's left a legacy here in the state of Wisconsin. Anyways, here's part 2 of my interview with Jesse Russell.
What are some news stories that you broke that you're really proud of?
I'm really proud of our coverage during the protests at the Capitol in 2011. I think we really defined the right way to cover something of that magnitude. Up to that point, we had been kind of shifting toward mostly an arts and culture website, but because we'd been around for so long, we had the right amount of people in place in order to cover this thing properly. We almost had people at the Capitol 24 hours a day using Twitter, Facebook, as many means as possible to get the story out and not worry about putting it all on our website and worry about page views. Our page views were through the roof, but that wasn't important to us. What was important was getting the news out. So we used every tool, YouTube, photos, everything we could to get it out there. And one thing we were able to do is kind of stay a couple steps ahead of like the conservative messaging around it, where we were able to, if Fox News said something that wasn't accurate, such as Paul Ryan going on Fox and saying that there were riots in Madison, we were able to debunk that within 2 hours and get the real story out there. And what would happen is other blogs and our publications would see what was really happening and then report factually instead of just echoing the statements that someone, just because he has a little bit of power, was saying and getting more, they consider him a trusted source just because he's a representative. I'm not saying he's a liar, but, he misspoke. And I was really proud of our coverage, and after that time, we did a lot of great stuff, especially around mining. Christy Taylor did a lot of great stories on mining. Homelessness was starting to become something we were covering on a regular basis that year, and something that I'm really hoping that the new curators will stay on top of, because I don't think most of the publications in Madison are covering the homelessness issue properly. They kind of put it all under an umbrella that if you're homeless, all homelessness is the same, which isn't the case, and that's something that I was trying to change, that not all homelessness is the same, but you need to focus on different types of people, different circumstances, different reasons that people are homeless, and I think that needs a proper coverage. And we had a mailing list, so we put what we reported on a mailing list, and other larger publications nationally would see what we were reporting on, and they would take that story and they would report on it and kind of pull it upward. And that's a thing that I think needs to be worked on and developed, is learning how to make relationships with state-level news organizations and then national level, and getting it out there to the mainstream press eventually. And
one of your pictures you did at the protest was actually on Huffington Post.
That was actually from the first Tea Party protest in Madison. That was.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
That was April 15th, 2000. It must have been 2008, right, or 2009. Whatever after Obama was elected, that's when the guy was holding up a sign that said, "Obama's plan, white slavery."
Yeah.
And that went viral. And today it still gets thousands of hits.
I just saw it. I literally just saw it on some sort of top 10 list of crazy Tea Party signs or something like that.
Wow, I'm on all this top 10 lists I don't know about.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot from you. Thank you.
I know. Why don't you talk about the Wisconsin Film Festival and what you think Dane101 has done for the Wisconsin Film Festival? Or vice versa, I guess.
I think Dane101 provided the best coverage of the Wisconsin Film Festival in the history of Madison.
I agree.
I don't think anybody's done it as good as we've done it. And that isn't to kind of poo-poo on other publications. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
We have more reviews. We have more advanced coverage now too. Like when we first started doing it, it was mostly all reviews. But then in the following years, we started doing a lot of trailers and previews of stories and interviewing the producers and the directors and the actors in advance. And the last 3 years, I think we actually had a podcast where we talked to all kinds of creators associated with the film. And I don't think anybody really did it the way we did it.
Okay, so now let's talk about the events that you have put on. Let's talk about the Fireball and explain what the Fireball is.
The Fireball we started putting on as kind of a counter to the Frosty Ball. The Frosty Ball, as many people know, is an annual event that happens in Madison. It happens at the Overture Center. It's where the hoity-toity of the city kind of dress up in ball gowns and suits and pay $100 a ticket or more to go listen to jazz and hang out and hobnob, which is cool. But I don't necessarily like dressing up that way, and I can't afford to spend $100 on a ticket. So I wanted to create something for the rest of us where people could wear whatever they consider formal. If you want to consider formal steampunk, if you want to consider just a harness formal, awesome. Whatever you think is appropriate to wear. A Star Fleet uniform, cool. That I want people to be happy and comfortable wearing with it, and not be judged, have a place to go, and I want to keep it affordable and cheap. So Emily Mills and I put this together kind of to make it a carnival atmosphere where we've had stilt walkers, aerial acrobats, fire spitters, burlesque, belly dancers, all kinds of things over the years. And the first year went really well. We almost sold out, but then every year since then it's sold out. So now we're moving it this year to the Majestic Theater, where it's going to be 2 nights, and tickets are moving really well for them.
What are those dates?
It's January 25th and 26th.
Okay. Alrighty, and then why don't you talk about Freakin' Hollow Weekend?
Freakin' Hollow Weekend. I think I don't know if I should say this, but I think that we were one of the first Halloween parties to have all cover bands, all tribute bands.
I think so.
Yeah, so we had all tribute bands, and what we wanted to do is we wanted to find bands in Madison to choose a popular band that they wanted to perform that hasn't been performed before in Madison. That was kind of our goal with it, if I remember right. So, we started doing that 6 years ago. This will be our 7th year in October, and it's been a huge success. We worked on it together, and we've had a lot of great bands, and we expanded 2 nights, and the house is always packed, and
it's a fun thing we do.
It is a fun thing. I think it's one of the best Halloween parties in town. Now everybody does tribute bands.
What are some other events maybe that I'm missing? And those are the 2 biggies I always think of when I think of Dane101.
Well, Kyle mentioned the Forward Music Festival, which I was involved with on the first year, because I still do believe that Madison is the type of city that could host a citywide music festival. Our problem the first year is we went too big too fast. We kind of got our eyes were bigger than our stomachs, really, and we had 78 bands at 8 different venues, and it was awesome. I think the first year was a huge success, but honestly, and I've never talked about this before publicly, but I'm leaving, so why not? We lost a lot of money, and I'm still paying off some of the debt from that the first year of the music festival, which is why I wasn't involved in the second year, because I was very uncomfortable committing to something like that again. But I think there's a lot of potential, and I'm okay with what the mayor is doing, but unfortunately the mayor he hasn't asked anybody from the Forward Music Festival to actually consult on this citywide music thing that they're planning to do.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, the mayor is investing all this money to see if Madison can host an Austin-style citywide music festival, and we tried doing it. There was the Clock something festival. There are a bunch of organizations that have already tried it, but the mayor hasn't asked any of those people to be on the committee, which is bullshit. And there was somebody that was involved with the Forward Music Festival that tried to talk to him after the last public hearing they had, and he kind of blew her off and brushed her off and wasn't willing to listen to her. And it's really sad because, while it was a very successful event in perception, everybody that went there was pretty much happy. There were some logistical issues the second year, but there were kinks that you learn with time to fix. So I hope Kyle and Jamie and Wyndham and other people decide to do something like that again someday, because I think Madison can do it, but you have to start small.
Who are some local politicians that you've that Dane101 has built, or even you just built a relationship with, like a really nice relationship with, or their offices you built a nice relationship with?
Mark Buchanan, we built a relationship with early on. He was the first blogger in the Wisconsin legislature. I don't know if you remember, he had a blog, and he would write about shenanigans going on in the legislature. He wouldn't really make it political, but he'd write about funny things that were going on. And we interviewed him early on, and ever since that time, back in 2005, I think it was, we've always had a relationship with him. He came on one of our podcasts, and that was awesome. And to this day, he's very accessible and friendly to us. Let's see. Herb Cole, we haven't had a very good relationship with, but we've bugged him quite a bit over the years to try to get him to make a statement on net neutrality. And the response of his office was always, he's still working on his opinion, and that's since 2006. So he's now left Congress, and he's never taken a stand on net neutrality, which I think is hilarious.
Thank you very much, Congresswoman, for speaking with me. I just wanted to see why you felt the need to come here today.
Well, I've been in Washington all week working on the national equivalent of the budget repair.
We met some of the people that work in Tammy's office when she was a representative. I don't know where it stands right now because I haven't reached out to her since she's become a senator. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's going to change or not, but she was fairly accessible. Again, the network neutrality, when SOPA was coming up, the Stop Online Piracy Act, she was actually hard to pin down. I started calling her office every single day to get a stance, and she eventually came out on the right side of things. But
and then Russ Feingold as well, right? He posted, did he not?
Yeah, he posted a couple articles during the run to his election. So we've had a friendly relationship with him. He actually made a comment about Dane101, which I was trying to remember, that we were able to put on some of our promotional materials. Like something about us being the spine of independent media in Madison, or something like that. But I can't remember.
But he wrote a specific exclusive post just for Dane101.
Yeah, about veterans.
Yep. Okay. And then you met him at a cafe?
What? Where? What?
Didn't you introduce yourself at like a cafe? You just saw him come in or something like that?
Oh, right. When he's getting his haircut. Yeah, at when it was Company of Thieves, which is now Johnson Public House. They're just kind of hanging out in there, and he was in there, so I introduced myself to him, and he just got his haircut at the place next door, which I don't know if that's there anymore, but he said he'd been getting his haircut there since when he was in college. Yep.
And then you showed him Dane101.
Yep. And that was a long time ago. I'd forgotten all about that.
It's all up here, my friend.
Yep.
What's happening with Dane101 now that you are leaving, and I know Emily moved over to the Our Lives magazine as editor? What's going on with Dane101, and what's the future of Dane101?
It's kind of, right now it's in a weird place where some individuals, Christy Taylor, Addie Blanchard, Sarah Bartash, Scott Gordon, and Mark Rickers, are looking at how they can help keep it going into the future. You know, Scott Gordon, who used to be the AV Club editor, is currently music writer for Isthmus. He's written a couple things for Dane101, but so it was kind of a surprise to me that he was interested in helping nurture it and make sure it stayed alive after I left. And I basically stepped back and I've taken on an advisory role, but I want them to do whatever they think is best with the website. I don't want to get in their way. You know, I don't want to impede potential inspiration, and that could take you in a new direction. They're very energized. Sarah's talking about wanting to make it into a proper business, which we've tried, but you know, maybe if I'm not there, Emily's not there, you kind of get fresh blood in there. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens. I know Christy and Lori Stark are talking about doing What's Your Damage again, which is an event that I did for a while, where people read from their journals and their poetry from high school. So So that might continue going after I leave. The other events are up in the air. Oh, actually, you and Michael are going to be doing freaking Halloween weekend, as far as I know.
Yep.
So I'm glad that's going on. Fireball is way up in the air, but some people have talked to me about they're interested in continuing it, and I actually might end up licensing that or something. I don't know, or being a talent scout on the West Coast and going to find performers to send back here.
So, now when you go to San Francisco, what are you gonna do? What is gonna be your creative outlet?
I don't know. I'm looking forward to finding out what I am without Dane101, because Dane101 has been my life for almost a decade now, and it's kind of part of my personality. It's how I met all these great people in the community. So I get to find out who Jesse Russell is without that, and I'm scared but excited. So.
Now, is there anything you wanna just you just wanna say or anything about leaving Madison and the state of Wisconsin?
When I first found out that I was definitely leaving, I happened to be up on the square at night and Christmas lights everywhere and looking at the Capitol. That's the first time I got choked up like this.
Well, it's
and I've been so distracted with packing and moving that I haven't really thought about it too much. But before moving to Madison, I did things, but I didn't really have a creative outlet, and the nature of the city allowed me to create and build things. And it's the fact that so many people were willing to come to my events and share my vision that I was able to do all that, and so I'm incredibly thankful.
And so I guess I want to add on there and just say, but I wanted to say, thanks for the opportunities you've given me, and for your friendship, and just in general. I wouldn't have met you, and I wouldn't have met all the Dane101 family if you didn't take a chance on me. And now I'm quoting, what is that? Is that ABBA? Take a chance.
Yes.
Well, thanks again, Jesse. But it was actually nice, even if we weren't recording this. It was nice just to talk about Dane101 and talk about it.
So cool. Well, thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate that, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Sounds good. We'll see you later, buddy.
Here's a new segment called 5 Rants in a Minute. That's right, I do 5 rants in 1 minute. Hopefully, I can do this. 1. In a secret GOP meeting, GOP politicians need to be told by pollsters to stop talking about rape. Most people understand that maybe rape is a sensitive subject, and that rape is a 4-letter word. Number 2, in the State of the State address, Governor Walker stated this.
Importantly, we improved the climate for job creators here in Wisconsin over the past year. Today, 94% of our job creators believe that Wisconsin is headed in the right direction.
Governor Walker, you have no right to talk about job creation when we are ranked. Wisconsin is ranked 42nd out of 50 states. This isn't about ideology. This isn't about Walker being a Republican. This is about a person being ineffective at his job. The numbers simply don't lie. Today is Inauguration Day, and I just got done watching it. Hey, NBC News, do you really need to be continually commenting on who everyone is wearing? You're NBC News. Leave that to the E! channel. I find it interesting that the Tea Party carries signs like this, trying to present Obama as someone that he isn't. Instead, he's a president that invites this guy to his inauguration. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. God bless you, God bless Wisconsin, and God bless these United States of America. Thank you very much.